they can all come to because they can't stay alone when I'm here with you. It's a new horizon and I'm set on you, and you meet me here with mercies that are new. Oh, all my fears and doubts, they can all come to because they can't stay alone when I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are. It's a new horizon, I'm set on you, and you meet me here today. Mercies that are new, all my fears and doubts, they can all come to because they can't stay alone when I'm here with you. It's a new horizon and I'm set on you, and you meet me here today. Mercies that are new. Oh, all my fears and doubts, they can all come to because they can't stay alone when I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are the way, the truth, the light. I believe you are. Church, at this time during our worship service, I'm going to open up the front so you can bring your tithes and gifts and offerings this morning. We're simply continuing with our worship today. As we continue to play, you're welcome to come. It is well, it is well with my soul. Those things, though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate and has shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul, it is well. It is well with my soul. My sin, oh the bliss of this glorious thought. My sin not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well, with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when the faith shall be sight. The clouds be rolled back as a stroll. The trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. With my soul, it is well. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. With my soul, it is well. It is well with my soul.
Good morning. It is well with my soul. That's awesome. Well, welcome this morning, and welcome back, and welcome for the first time if this is the first time you've been here. For the Easter season, what we did was we spent some time just kind of, I call it eavesdropping, but we kind of eavesdropped on Peter's interactions with Jesus this year in some skits. And so every week, as we saw a little bit more of Peter and how Peter really didn't see himself. He didn't see himself the way Jesus saw him. He didn't see himself in what he was going to do. He just didn't see himself. And so the question that we all had was, in what ways am I open to seeing myself through Christ's eyes? And so I would like to invite Jordan, Brandy, and Mike Peterson up to share with us what God has said to you. Brandy, I'm going to let you go first.
Hi, guys. So during this time, I have a very hard time listening if you don't know me. I hear things, I hear you, but I'm stubborn. So the first thing that God said to me is stop looking at yourself from your eyes. Take those lenses off and see yourself how I see you. Yeah, I sat in that for a while because I see myself a whole lot of ways. I see myself how some of you tell me. But I wasn't real sure because in the past year and 7 months, my world was rocked. My husband had a pancreatic cancer scare. COVID hit. I left the school that I taught at for 15 years. I had a brain biopsy. My sister and her unborn child suddenly died. And then 7 weeks later after that, my dad unexpectedly died. So I kind of zoned in with my own, what was going on with me. And let me just tell you how it started off. It started off with confusion, loss of eyesight. I literally had to survive on the faith of Jesus. I literally had to walk in his eyes. My brain was white. I could not stay up for more than 10 minutes at a time. My cognitive thinking was gone. I assumed it was just the stress of everything that I just shared with you. I had to give up driving. I had to give up teaching. I had to give up time with my children. Felt I wasn't being the wife I needed to be because I couldn't do things I didn't have control. Finally had an MRI. There was a large area of my brain, something the doctors have never seen. Out of the doctor's mouth was, I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like it. Well, thanks. That's reassuring. You're about to open up my brain. So, in order to find out, I underwent a brain biopsy on June 2nd, 2020, in the midst of COVID. My husband's still healing. The doctor told my family it looked like cancer. But during the healing, I'm still having these numerous symptoms. I'm still attempting to ease my fear. I played worship music. I praised God. I praised him for the family support. I praised him for the doctors. I praised him for my church family. Jesus literally appeared to me at the edge of my bed, the foot of my bed. It was just to show me that I'm not alone. Even though sometimes in my eyes, I feel like I am. He's going to restore my brain how he intended it to be. And this consoled me. my brain was literally erased from the trauma. So I was still sleeping because my brain was healing a lot from the surgery. There's a large inflammation area. I had a lot of dreams. I was sleeping a lot. But I later learned that these weren't dreams. These were visions and revelations. A lot about my identity does not come from what I've always plugged into. I identified as a teacher, wife, mom, daughter, sister, ... So now when I'm awake, I question my purpose because I'm constantly seeking out God for answers. I have to listen. Crying out every day, I want so much more for my life. Asking God for his glory and to make me his victory. All this still holds true to this day. This hasn't stopped. You see, the results of the brain biopsy showed there is no cancer, but instead I have a rare form of multiple sclerosis that presents as a brain tumor. So my symptoms are both MS and brain tumor symptoms. The symptoms are there every day, and some days it just puts me down for the day. My whole life as I knew it has changed. Some days I just get through on the worship and the praise. But every single day I try and I surrender my disappointment. For 2 years, my quality of life has sucked because of these symptoms. I constantly question God, how am I ever going to fulfill a purpose with these limitations? Not seeing in the confusion being the worst. Asking him, is this it? How can I love others when I don't even love myself? So here goes the question yet again. Show me, God, through your eyes, how you see me. And it's by the people that he's placed in my life. By the people that are rallying around me. The ones that are supporting me. The ones that are speaking truth into me. My women's group on Sundays, they just listen. And sometimes that's all I need. A husband and children that love me unconditionally. And not based on my performance as I thought, as I identified with. A mom that won't let me give up. My fellow believers and my prayer warriors. When people randomly come up and tell me, hey, you've really inspired me today. Okay. A pastor that speaks truth with God's word. The list continues. And community, that's just you. God placed me in this family many years ago. I feel he's healing me slowly so that I don't miss out on the restoration of my identity in him. In the time of reflection, God is saying to me, you are not alone. You are loved. You are worthy. You are faithful. I have created you with a purpose and will equip you to fulfill it. I'm not done with you yet. Take off the lenses of your eyes and see me the way I see you.
All right, so I had the pleasure of Bill stopping by on Monday. I was the friend that he was talking about. And he quickly gave me a description of kind of what the sermon was about last week, and it made sense pretty quickly. But once I watched the sermon, I realized that I've been carrying this cross for quite a while now. It's been probably close to 2 or 3 years. And there's a lot to it, so I wrote it down and I'm just going to read it because otherwise we'll be here till Tuesday. So this is actually something that's been on my heart for over a year now. Like Bill said in his sermon last week, sometimes we drift away without even noticing until someone or something reminds us or makes us aware of how far we are from who we are meant to be. My first reminder was a statement. You're going to be a dad. You'd think you'd think that'd be enough to start searching for the best you. But in the busyness of finishing the house and getting things ready for the baby, the first reminder only ever produced awareness. My second reminder, July 8th of last year. That statement became reality. And the most beautiful little boy entered this world, and my whole perception of life was completely turned upside down. I instantly wanted to be the best dad I could be. And in order to be that, I had to be the best me that I could be. That's when I realized how far I've drifted from my potential. So almost 10 months ago, I started asking God, how could I get back to the real me? After asking for so long without answer, I began to think that I was asking for too much at once. So I asked for the first step. What direction do I need to go? Just tell me where and how to take the first step. Again, no answer. At this point, I felt completely defeated and angry. I was outside by myself working late one night, and in my anger yelled out, "How did I get here? Why am I like this?" That's when I heard God say, "That's your first step." Confused at first, but then I understood. Being lost is the result of not remembering where you came from. And now, I'm lost and I don't even know why I left in the first place. The same thing that motivated me to leave is now deterring me from trying to find my way back, completely blocking the path I took to get here. I've tried other ways to find myself. They look good, they make me feel good, but they are only temporary, all leading to a dead end, forcing me right back to the middle of nowhere. So not only do I need to know why, but I need to confront why, because that's what's standing between me and my potential, and there's no way around it. After much reflection and really digging deep, I found out my why. Every part of who I am now is rooted in my two biggest fears: my fear of loss and my fear of failure, both of which grew from the seeds of pain planted a long time ago. The craziest part of it all is that this pain has so severely affected me that it has actually caused me to bring my greatest fears to reality myself. I'm extremely afraid to lose somebody that I've pushed everyone away. I keep people at a distance, never letting people in, and avoid to make any new friends. All because I believed it would be easier that way if I do lose them. And I'm so afraid to fail that I pretty much just gave up. I avoid trying new things and rarely take chances anymore because I can't fail at something I never tried to succeed at. It's a crazy way of thinking, and I didn't even know I was doing it, but I've realized that I will do pretty much anything to avoid pain. I'm so exhausted, so I shut off all my senses, so I couldn't feel anything, and I just walked blindly into the middle of nowhere, avoiding everything and everyone on my path. It's the hardest thing in the world, because the thing I long for the most in life is to love and be loved. But I love deep, and in that the pain is deep. But when I look at my son, there's no pain too deep to keep me from loving him with everything I have to offer and more. And it's helping me to see the collateral beauty in it all. Because what is love without pain? The real me loves like every day is the last. Time becomes so precious. And if I don't fight my way through these fears now, by the time I get back to me, I may not have much time to spare. Confronting the pain to get through my fears scares me to death. And God knows I won't be perfect. But for the people that I've kept at a distance, which is pretty much everyone, please be patient with me. And know that you have nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with you. And I do love you and long for a relationship with all of you. I appreciate all of you for not giving up on me. And I'm sorry if I've pushed you away. I can't do this alone, so if willing, a hand up when I'm down, a push when I've stopped, and maybe even a fight when I've turned back to wandering or in trying to give up would all be much appreciated.
Jordan wants to know, church, are you willing to be patient with him? Yes. That's number one. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. You sure?
Yeah.
Number two, he says he doesn't want us to give up on him. Are we giving up? No. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. You're loved just where you are, but you're also loved too much to leave you there. Okay, my man? Mm-hmm. Okay, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jordan.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Peter. Bear with me. I'm probably more Peter than you know. They say casting's everything. When I started this whole thing and with helping Bill with the things, whatever, immediately, man, my mind just started scrolling. And Peter was arrogant. He was educated. He knew. I remember when I started my career in law enforcement, somebody said to me that this job is going to change you. And I looked at him and I kind of laughed and shrugged it off and said, yeah, well, if that ever happens, I'll quit the job. How naive and how arrogant was that? See, the change didn't happen in a day. The change didn't happen in a month. Just a little bit every day. Just a little bit. My perspective, my mind started changing. everything about me started to change. And that change wasn't just at work. It bled over into my personal life. It bled over into my marriage and my kids. And over that time, Peter was faced with times where he did what he never thought he would do. And there have been times where Mike has done the things that he thought he would never do. And he was so arrogant that he would never do it. He did it. I've done things that I'm not proud of. I've done things that I'm ashamed of. I've not done things that I'm not proud of, and I've not done things that I'm ashamed of. And this whole series has been very difficult for me right from the get-go, because all these things have just been scrolling my life, one series and one event after another, and living with and replaying everything in my mind. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't read the question on the cross. I didn't. It never left my book bag all week. But I've been carrying that stupid thing all week long, and it's been just consuming my every being. When I think about this series and everything, what I see is I see a mountain of guilt and shame for me. And in the last skit, the kind of conversation went back and forth about forgiveness and grace and mercy and all that stuff. And I can understand it, but I don't know if I can grasp the simplicity of it. Man, that mountain's high. And one image that's been in my mind all week has been, when I was a little kid, we used to go to the beach. Mom used to take us down there and used to go out into the ocean and, swim around a little bit, ride some waves. And, when you're out there in the middle of the ocean and in waves and everything like that, you really don't realize where you're at. Until you hear that whistle. And when you hear that whistle blowing, immediately everybody looks to the shore because the lifeguard's trying to get a hold of somebody, trying to get somebody's attention. I've been hearing a whistle all week. And when I look to the shore is empty. Because where I should be is back that way. So, I'm sorry I didn't read the question. I don't know if I answered the question. But this week especially has been very difficult for me. It's been very painful. That's all I got.
19 years ago, became the pastor of this church. One thing that I said to Jesus was, I just don't want to do church anymore. So tired of church. I don't want to come and sing some songs and everybody hear a 20-minute little sermon, which you know doesn't happen here. And then everyone goes home, but nobody's any different. I told Jesus if that's what he wanted me to do, then I couldn't be the pastor here because I don't believe in it. I wanted to be a part of a place where we experienced God and we experienced each other and we walk with each other through the good times, because there's lots of good times. People get married and people have babies and people graduate and we celebrate, and I love that. But there's also lots of difficult times. And I wanted to be a part of a place where we just walk with people no matter where the road takes them. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be a part of a place where it's real. Well, we don't act like we have it all together, because we don't. And we struggle, and sometimes we struggle immensely. And sometimes we don't understand, and sometimes we ask God questions, and that doesn't mean we don't have faith. And sometimes we just want to quit, and that doesn't mean we don't love God. I wanted to be a part of a place where people could stand up and they could talk about life, and we'd be willing to listen, and we'd be able to walk with them and love them no matter what. And that's, to me, what church is. That's all church is. It's about people. It's about, we're all learning how to love God, and sometimes we feel like we do well, and sometimes we feel like we stink at it. And we're all learning how to accept ourselves and love ourselves in the midst of all the issues we got going on in life, and we're all trying to learn how to love other people. You might want to answer that. That might be Jesus. I was talking to my staff one day, and I said, if I was to start a church today, if God let me start a church today, what would I call it? I would call the church the School of Love. Because I believe Christianity is only one thing: learning how to love. That's all it is. So for me, this is church. That's all it is. It's just church. And for us, church means we're real. Church means we're struggling. Church means we're on the mountaintops. Church means we're in the valleys. Church just means we're just with a bunch of people that are learning how to love God and love themselves and love others, and we're not going to give up. That's all church means. And I want to say to you today, thank you for being a part of a place like that. If you'd have said to me 19 years ago that I'd be here 19 years and we'd be where we are, I'd have said to you, you were crazy. But we are. Man, I'll tell you, there is no place I'd rather be. There's no place in the whole world I'd rather be than to be here with all of you, learning how to love. Whew. It's been the greatest ride of my life. So I just want to say to all of you who carried the cross during this Easter season, thank you. Thank you for being willing to share and to come up here and to just be real and be honest. Thank you for allowing me to hand you the cross. And being willing to come back here and share yourself with us. How rich, how rich this experience is for me. Wow. So we got all sorts of stuff to do. I had a whole sermon prepared for you. It was awesome. It might have been the best sermon in the history of sermons. Phenomenal sermon. I mean, it was unbelievable. I don't think we're going to hear it today. We're going to take communion. Now, prior to the pandemic, we had this way we took communion, and what would happen is we'd have somebody from community come up, and they'd have a loaf of bread, and they would go and stand each on the side, and then you would come up, and then you would pull bread off of that loaf, meaning you're pulling out of community because you're part of community, and then you would come to the center, and you would dip your bread in one of the cups, and then you would partake of the elements. And in talking with the spiritual leadership team, I believe that we want to start moving back in that direction, but not everybody is ready. So I want to explain some things to you today. We still have the cups with the juice and the phenomenal wafer in it. And I want you to know this morning that if you don't feel that you can take communion the other way, then please don't do that. There's no pressure here this morning. I want you to take communion the way you need to take it, that you feel safe, that you feel good. So I want you to know these are here. They're still here today, okay? But at the same time this morning, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a couple people to come up and to hold this loaf, but they're going to be holding the loaf with gloves on, okay? I'm trying to be sensitive here and trying to be aware, so please, if I'm missing something, give me grace today and then email me and help me out, okay? They're going to hold on to the bread with these, but they're going to pull the piece off for you and hand it to you if you want one when you come through the line. And then you will come to the center, and then you will dip your bread in the juice, okay? That's kind of how that's going to go, okay? So I just want to say that to you today, okay? So that's how communion is going to kind of look. For us, communion is about God's table. See, this isn't our table. This is God's table. And God gets to decide who he comes to his table. And I want you to know today that if you're not a member, it doesn't matter. If this is your first time, we appreciate you being here. God bless you. But that doesn't exclude you. If you've been here 4,555 billion times, you also are still invited to the table. See, everybody here today is invited. No one's excluded. This is between you and Jesus. This isn't between me and you. For us, communion is the sacrament of grace. That's all it is, in a nutshell. And today, if you need God's grace, and God's grace is simply this, the unmerited favor of God. You can't earn it. You'll never be good enough for it. And no matter where you are today, his grace is sufficient. That's all it means. Simplistically, that's all it means. So this morning, Jordan, I want you to come up here and I want you to hold a loaf today. Now, you may think to yourself, not only did I show up at your house and violate your home and give you the cross, and now I'm going to make you stand up here with a dumb loaf. And you know why I'm going to do this today? Because I want you to look people in the eye today, and I want you to see that no one's judging you. And I want you to know something today, my friend. We love you with all of the struggle that you're going through. And no one will give up on you, and no one will walk away from you. And I just want you to see people's face today. And I want you to be able to know, man, you're in. Now, don't make me come back to your house again and do that to you. But I will. So if you glove up here, okay, I need you to glove up. I'm just taking all advantage of you today, ain't I? Yeah. Now, there's your loaf, okay? And then what you're going to get to do is people come up, you're going to pull some off and hand it to them. You're going to stand right over there, right? Peter, I need you. Yeah, I'm going to violate you again. Yep, you're right. You should have left right after your testimony. Law enforcement jacks you up, man. You stand in the gap as a law enforcement officer, and you stand between what's in that jail and us. And nobody has any idea, Mike, what it's like to do 25 years in that jail and then to come out and to think everything's normal and everything's good and you haven't changed. See, but we need people like you to stand in there, but in standing in there, man, you're damaged at the end. And that mountain, you know the mountain you're talking about? Yeah, I remember that mountain when I got out. You're not alone. And I want you to know that this morning. I love you. I respect you. And you just retired, man, 25 years, and I want you to know how unbelievably proud I am of you. And you're just right now wanting me to shut up and let you alone. I know that. But that's why I got the mic this time. The whole loaf. Not for you to eat. If you'd go down there and stand, people are going to come up to you. Pastor Eddie. If you'll take one of the cups. No, one of these cups. Okay. Pastor Lois, you're going to stand next to him in case anybody wants one of these. Okay? You're going to stand with Pastor Eddie. Nelda, where are you? You got the basket. Communion is open, people. We invite you to come and partake. If you can't come forward, if you'll stay in your seat, we will come to you. Okay? So please, it's okay. as you know, on the third Sunday, or this isn't the third Sunday, that's how confused I am. But what we do is we do this thing called Blessed to be a Blessing. And what we do is we take an offering, it's a love offering. And if you've come today and you're able to contribute to this, we appreciate that. And then what we do is we take this offering and we just go to someone and we just give it to them. No strings attached, do whatever you want to do with it. And we delivered this last offering to someone, and I would like to show you what we did in this last offering and who we gave it to. Jim?
At Ramoth, we believe that we have been blessed to be a blessing. And so this month we have chosen to bless you. And so here is a check from Ramoth Church. Yes. Will you accept the blessing?
I wasn't expecting that.
I know.
Maybe a piece of jewelry from Angie.
Will you accept the blessing?
I need it.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I
I
know.
am so broke.
Love you.
Oh. Thank you.
It's time for us to do something.
Debbie's been out of work for a long time, struggling to make it. We found out, gave her the money. I just want you to know what we can do and we team together, how many people we can help if we come together. As one community, we can really change some things around here. Thank you for participating. So this morning, if you would like to, the band's going to play, and then there is the bowl up here. If you'd like to come and give the Blessed Be a Blessing, we invite you to come.
Make me broken so I can be healed. 'Cause I'm so callous and now I can't feel. I wanna run to you with arms wide open. Make me broken.
Sing it again. Make me broken.
Make me broken so I can be healed. 'Cause I'm so callous and now I can't feel. I wanna run to you with heart wide open. Make me broken.
Make me empty, Jesus.
Make me empty so I can be filled. 'Cause I'm still holding onto my will. And I'm completed when you are with me. So make me empty until he's the only
one desire.
Until you are my one desire, till you are my one true love, till you are my breath, my everything. Lord, please keep making me. There's no place that I'd rather be. There's no place that I'd rather be. There's no place that I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. There's no place that I'd rather be. There's no place that I'd rather be. There's no place that I'd rather be than here in your love. Set a fire down. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. 'Cause I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. There's no place that I'd rather be. No place that I'd rather be. There's no place that I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. No place that I'd rather be. No place that I'd rather be. No place that I'd rather be. Here in your love, here in your love. Jesus, Jesus, thank you so much.
Lord, you seem to always know how to put together the perfect service when we can just step out of the way and let you have yours. And I just pray, Lord, that we would not forget what we've seen today, and that we would take what you've shown us, and that we would put into practice, little by little, each revelation that you give to us. We love you today. We thank you for who you are and for what you've done. And it's in your name I pray. And the church said, amen.